The Indiana Hoosiers are coming off a national title, and while the offense was great and had the Heisman Trophy winner and likely could have 2 first-round picks, their defense was the difference maker in their title run. This was an absolutely inspired group of guys who might not check a lot of physical boxes, but they are incredibly smart, and that's exactly the case with cornerback dangeloponds. Ponds is a guy who is small, but has been one of the best cornerbacks in America over the last 3 years, and I think has all the makings of being a great pro. Today, we will talk about what I like about Ponds, and ultimately what I think his ceiling is at the NFL level. But hey guys, if you guys are new to the channel, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It helps me out a ton, and it lets me know you guys enjoy the videos. Comment down below which prospects you guys want to see in a future episode, and without further ado, let's get into it. Dangeloponds was a 3-star recruit from the 2023 recruiting class who was on the same high school team as Jeremiah Smith. He went to James Madison as a true freshman where he was absolutely phenomenal and followed Curt Cignetti to Indiana in 2024 where he was an instant star for the Hoosiers. Ponds finished the year with 47 tackles, 22 run stops, allowed a 53.3% reception when targeted, and had 3 interceptions and 7 pass breakups. In 2025, he followed it up with another massive season where he had 54 tackles, 17 run stops, a forced fumble, allowed a 49.2% completion rate, had 2 interceptions and 9 pass breakups, and had a national championship game where he was one of the best players on the field for Indiana. Ponds is an awesome player who I don't think is being discussed enough in this draft class, and we're going to start by getting the elephant out of the room now. Ponds is going to be a physical outlier in the NFL because he is a very small corner, and as a result is likely going to have to make a transition to the slot in the NFL. Ponds is listed at 5'9", 173 pounds, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if the measurements at the combine are even smaller than this. He's got short arms, he's not very tall, but to be completely honest with you guys, I don't really care. He is such a well-rounded player who I think plays bigger than his listed size. He's got some competitiveness and feistiness in his game that I don't think you can teach, and he hasn't let it hurt him at the collegiate level. There are times where I think it can hurt him when going up against blockers, and he did have struggles against Jeremiah Smith, but who doesn't? But it's not something I'm overly concerned with and something that I think is going to hurt Ponds significantly in the NFL. Because I think Dangeloponds is an incredibly high IQ and smart football player who I think has excellent zone feel for the cornerback position. Ponds is so smart, has really good explosiveness, and his closing speed is exceptional. I think his ability to mirror and cut off routes is really good, and he always seems to know where to be and how to impact the play. I think his change of direction is really seamless, and I think his ball skills have absolutely been there where he has been a ball magnet at the college level with 7 interceptions and 26 pass breakups over the last 3 years. Ponds is always able to make a play around the football because I think he has good zone IQ, his route recognition is phenomenal, and he's got really good ball skills to go along with it. I also think Ponds is a fantastic run defender and tackler in the open field. Typically with smaller corners who do have short arms, you worry about missed tackles being a concern, but Ponds is not just a good tackler, he's an elite tackler for a cornerback with just a 6.1% missed tackle rate throughout his career. He has good trigger, he's really good at wrapping up, and he doesn't let the lack of size affect him, and he's able to tackle well in the open field. I also thought the discipline from Ponds took a really big step up in 2025. In 2024, Ponds had 7 penalties, but he cut that back significantly and finished 2025 with just 1 penalty. He's a guy who has learned how to play physical at the cornerback position without getting grabby and without getting penalized for it, and that was something I wanted to see him improve upon going into the year that I was impressed with. As an athlete, Ponds is very good, and I think his man coverage ability is solid. He has good speed and agility to match up one-on-one down the field, and I thought he showed good burners to stick with bigger receivers vertically. The one area I am slightly concerned with when it comes to Ponds is I think he opens his hips too early at times. He's a terrific coverage player and can fit in a variety of different schemes, but particularly going back to the Ohio State game, which was his lowest graded game of the season, he opened his hips too early at times, and when he got cooked vertically, that was why. I also think it shows up in his ability to deaccelerate, where he has had struggles at times against comebacks and quicker routes of the sort, where he just can't turn his hips quickly enough. I noticed it a few times on tape, and I'm not overly concerned with it, but it's certainly something to monitor, and I think one of the big question marks Ponds still has left to answer. Dangeloponds is a small cornerback, but he is an absolute demon at the position. He's got great ball skills, he's so sticky in man coverage, and in zone coverage, he's incredibly smart and instinctive. He's fantastic against the run, he tackles well, and there really are no areas of weakness other than that. Yeah, he's a very small corner, and like I said, I think he could open his hips too early at times. But I think this is a guy that if he was 5'10 or 5'11, we'd be talking about Dangeloponds as a top 5 pick in this draft class. I think he's remarkable, but you can't ignore the frame, and I do think it's going to limit him in the league. Ponds is my number 7 cornerback in the draft class, and I have a top 40 grade on him as a player. In terms of a scheme fit, I think it will be really hard for Ponds to continue to live on the boundary where he has done much of his work at Indiana. I think he's too small, and he will get worked by more physical guys. So I do think he is likely going to kick inside and be a slot corner at the next level, but I think he's perfect for this role. He gives you help and run support, he gives you stickiness and instincts in coverage. I think he can match up with anyone. He has showcased that throughout his whole career, and I think he brings great potential in that role. He doesn't have much slot experience in his career, and Indiana didn't ask him to do much of that. But I think that's where he is going to transition to the next level, and I think he's got the skill set to be a very good one. My player comparison for Dangeloponds is Washington Commanders cornerback Mike Sainristil. Sainristil was a ball-hawking corner at Michigan who moved really well, was physical, a decent run defender, but he did a lot of his work on the boundary as a smaller corner, and while he has still played a good amount as a boundary corner for Washington, he's still probably a guy that is viewed as more of a slot weapon. He's had his growing pains early on in his NFL career, but he is a guy that I think has shown the ability to be a starting corner in this league, and while I think Ponds has a higher ceiling, I think both of them have a very similar archetype. Dangeloponds is an absolute dog. He's everything you want in a cornerback trapped in a small body. I am a massive fan, he's a huge my guy in this class, and ultimately, I believe that Dangeloponds will be a top 100 pick in the 2026 NFL Draft.